The 70s was a weird period for me because I started the band. I became friends with the composer John Cage, and I was very much into experimental and electronic music. I ended up buying an ARP 2600 synthesizer, and I put Zoogz together, not to be a rock and roll band, but I put them together to be an experimental avant-garde band with a rock and roll flavor, as opposed to a rock and roll band with an avant-garde flavor, which is what the other phony rock and roll bands were doing. So I wanted to form a rock and roll band, Zoogz, and we did that for a while. We were scheduled to do a show with John Cage, but he got real sick before the show happened. This was at the Delaware Valley Festival of the Avant-Garde. I went ahead with my other plan. I was an artist up till that point. So what I had done is taken all of my paintings, films, sketches, and every work of art, plays I had written, every work of art I ever created, I brought to the Delaware Valley Festival of the Avant-Garde in Trenton, New Jersey. This was May 11th, 1975, I think. Boy, my memory is going. And I called the event the Daytona Sea, and Zoogz, they weren't called the Shitheads yet, did a show, a gig at the thing, and then at the end of the day at 5 o'clock we scheduled the Daytona Sea, where I was to destroy every work of art I ever created. The only thing was, when I started this thing, I started yelling, "Destroy all art, destroy before it destroys you." And before I knew it, there were hundreds of people pulling and scraping at my art and tearing it up and helping to burn it, and just doing all this shit. I mean, basically pushing, shoving, yelling, people screaming, "Yeah, destroy all art, yeah, destroy all art." It was one of the weirdest things we ever saw, but it started getting a little hairy because people were starting to push and shove each other. The fires were getting out of hand, even though the fire department was on hand with fire extinguishers. But things were getting messed up, and that we looked over on the side. There was a whole row of cops standing on the side, and they're all nervously tapping their billy clubs on their sides like they're getting ready to pounce. And Rich Hass comes over to me and he says, "I think we better get the fuck out of here." And I said, "I think you're right." So while everybody is pushing and shoving and tearing up my paintings and my artwork, my life's work, and destroying it for me, the band got packed up and we left. We split. We were in New York. Things weren't going well. You know, I'd make demo tapes and promotional pamphlets for the band and really do a lot of promotion. You know, I felt that business cards were a really stupid way of doing things, because the money that you spend on business cards you could be spending on a pamphlet that you fold into thirds and pass out, something that you could put photographs in, something you could put descriptions of the band, or any kind of gimmick you wanted to use. So we always did promotional pamphlets. So there are tons of old Zoogz promotional pamphlets that I did, which I guess would be pretty rare if anybody could ever find them. I don't even have them all. And I really went all out with an all-out campaign to get Zoogz a record deal, but it didn't work. Didn't work. Just no matter what I did, didn't work. End of story. And it wasn't for lack of trying. It wasn't because of bad attitude. It wasn't anything else. I really, you know, put on my walking shoes and walked everywhere. I put my nose to the grindstone and got up, pulled up my bootstraps, and used my gumption to really give it a shot, and it didn't work. You know, one of my biggest influences was Frank Zappa, obviously. And we used to go see Zappa all the time, not only at the Felt Forum in New York City and at the Fillmore East, but we would go see Zappa. I mean, I must have seen dozens and dozens of shows of the Mothers live at the Capitol Theater in Passaic. And every night after we'd get out of the Capitol Theater, you know, we'd drive home. And as we're driving home, we would drive down Lexington Boulevard right here in Clifton. and we'd eat at the hot grill, hot Texas wieners. I swear, these are the greatest fucking hot dogs on earth. I don't mind giving them a free plug because they are so much like Falls View in Patterson, where I spent my whole life growing up eating these great, unique hot dogs. And the Colonial Grill is very similar to Falls View. So we used to stop here at night, coming back from Zappa shows, and not only that, but we would come back from wrestling shows. You know, Laura and I used to go see WWF, Vince's father's wrestling shows at Madison Square Garden every month. So we'd go there to watch Bruno Sammartino kick the shit out of whatever guy Captain Lou Albano happened to be managing that day, whether it be Ivan Koloff or the Valiant Brothers, or the Blackjacks or Bugsy McGraw or what have you. And you know, Albano would talk real tough and talk about how they could beat the shit out of Sammartino. And then at the show at Madison Square Garden, Albano and his guys would just get the shit beat out of themselves by Bruno. And it was awesome. And we loved the show. Once a month we'd go to Madison Square Garden, shut out. And then we'd come here and have our hot dogs, our hot Texas wieners, and go home very happy. So those were good times, you know, all through the 70s. I had Zoogz. You know, Zoogz was becoming a better and better rock band, unfortunately. They were getting better and better and tighter as a rock band. We were doing material by me, Scott Colby, and Rich Hass. I tried like crazy to get us a fucking record deal in New York City for months, no avail. Eventually, it just came down to, if the band was going to survive, we'd have to move to California and give it our best shot in Los Angeles.